Well, hello everyone. I'm Bryce, and these are my friends.
Hi!
Hey guys.
Hello.
And we are playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, a homebrew campaign set in the Estonia and Hern. Welcome. I hope you guys are here for the long haul. Our question of the session is if you could have one cantrip, which would it be? So from any of the spell domains, you can have one cantrip. Which one would you want?
How many are there?
There are a lot.
I was gonna say, that's a long list. I need a list.
If you're frequently lost, I would take no direction.
Wait. Is that no direction or
Like
no direction?
So,
That's right. Is it a help or a curse? I don't know.
no one really does. Plus, it only tells you where north is, so it doesn't really help you with directions.
It only tells you one direction?
Maybe.
No wonder it's a cantrip.
Yes. Make sure I'm the front and center, Bryce.
Well, I'm catching bits and pieces of Caleb on the very edge of it, and he keeps slowly coming into...
Only one camera.
Yeah.
Can't hog God.
So, I do not have a fun fact, but I have a fact.
No.
So the fact of the session is Liam is an orphan that Donovan took in. He does not talk about his family much, though.
He's a vampire.
You guys think he's bad?
He is definitely
Secret
He is
vampire.
he's probably the secret final boss.
He's like this. He's like the last sin. Like the sin that no one knew about.
He's actually just Satan himself.
There you go.
Wouldn't surprise
The
me.
one you'd least expect, except for Tim.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know who said it in chat, but like as soon as they said like that kid's a little creepy, I'm like, yeah, he is a little creepy.
Maybe he's just haunted.
Yeah.
Or
Wait, what?
haunting.
But once again, I'm Bryce, and I am your dungeon master. And let's go ahead and kick it off on Josh's side today.
Oh boy. I'm Josh, play Cypher Underfoot, a halfling rogue, and Cypher's fun fact is that he is very fond of the stars. Not like astrology kind of stuff, but he is aware of and knows the constellations, and it was actually one of the first, if not the first, signifier to him that he was not where he was before when he came to the portal.
Oh, the stars look different.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm Caleb. I play Ko Dashik, who's a lizard folk champion. Fun fact about Ko is that he's never ridden a horse. So that might be interesting in the future.
Never ridden a horse.
Nope. They don't really ride horses in the marshes, and they don't really have need because they don't go far.
Fair.
I'm
I'm excited.
I was like, it's awkward to ride at the tail, so I guess that makes sense. We're gonna have trouble. What?
So I saw Rachel at lunchtime today, and she was working on her saying.
Working
So
on my rhyme.
really excited about it.
It's decent. It's decent.
Like all the other rides.
So
Yeah,
who are you and who are you playing?
So I'm Rachel. I play Anasha Evanvale, a half-elven monk, hoping to turn this burning barn devilry into a slightly dampened revelry. Because we can't be super happy, we just kind of came from a pretty bad spot. But devilry and revelry. There you go. Her fun fact is she comes from a super diplomatic background. Her dad was a retired envoy for the Elven Council, and her mom was also kind of in that realm with her family that she grew up in. So lots of traveling around to different groups of people, and that's how she kind of is familiar with different types of people. Yeah.
Fair enough. Got some rhyming skills, huh?
Yeah. Rhyme zone,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Rhyme.
yeah.
Type in a word, it
Not
gives
sponsored.
you rhymes. Yeah, dude. Rhymes with that. Never mind.
All right.
See how long this rap can go.
Oh gosh.
My name is Tim. I am playing Gazmak Trustygob, a goblin, monkey goblin, sorcerer, and entrepreneur. Fun fact, so we know that he loves pie. So Gazmak loves pie, but his favorite meal. So his favorite meal is something his mom made. It's called Double Dead Festering Fish Fry. What it is you take rotting fish, you cut it open, and you stick a little rotting fish inside of it. And then you deep fry that all in like the the generational grease that they hand down from like goblin generation to generation, right? Because it's like it's all like the nasty grease and everything, and so they just it's important. Like it's a family heirloom that you pass down from generation to generation. So they deep fry it in that, and then they take it out and they wrap it all in rat bacon. It's lovely, great stuff. Yeah,
I think Gazmag would enjoy Lutefisk. Should check out Lutefisk. That stuff's heinous.
fair enough. Well, the one that inspired me, what is it called? Like strum something or other. It's like the Finnish or like Norwegian dish where they like take a shark and they bury it for like a month. Or something like that.
Lutefisk.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I thought it called something else.
It's a white fish that they basically bury in lye.
Okay.
And it ferments and rots, and then they bring it.
Yeah. I thought it started with like strum something or like stern.
Oh,
something.
there's a different
There's
one.
a different version.
It's like a different Nordic thing, but it's basically the same idea.
There you go. So, double dead festering fish fry.
Double dead festering fish fry.
Yep.
Recipe coming to you soon.
Great.
Yeah, that sounds real bad.
I mean,
Cooking by Babish? Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Binging with Babish.
Binging
Yeah,
with
that's what it is.
Gorging with Gazmac.
I like it. I will never taste test a thing. But I like
It
it.
could be your newest
It just
entrepreneur
ends with
endeavor.
him on the table with the giant distended belly just every time.
Ugh.
Clean plate club again, guys.
Exactly. Everything's the clean plate club.
I'd actually love if Gazmac started like cooking classes, like giving cooking classes.
Like
So
a
funny.
a column or something like that in one of the
Yes.
local newspapers.
Well, last time we ended as you had finished off some pirate vampires.
Vampirates?
Vampirates.
There we go. I like
Yes,
that one.
I like it. So we finished off some vampires and we headed back to Encewood. And as you got within distance, you noticed that the barn was on fire and the dim flame was alit. And
Not on fire.
not on fire.
That's right. We had to clarify that.
It was intentionally lit.
It was intentionally lit. So you are now making your approach. You've hastened. Oh.
It's like somebody cast haste.
That's a great spell.
That was really good.
Wish.
All right, and as you are getting near, roll perception.
It's a good start.
That's not terrible.
24.
6.
22.
22 as well.
What are you distracted by?
Hi.
Let's see here. I would have to say probably the other goblin. The goblin that was there by the barn that we
Okay.
saw.
All right. So as you get closer, you do recognize that this is not your average-sized goblin, but more of a hobgoblin, and he is most definitely dead. So, as you make your final approach, you're able to see Faye and Liam at the top of the dim flame. They're overlooking a closed entrance to Encewood. The earth in front of the gates is pocketed with large craters and charred remains. Only one of the bodies is recognizable, and we'll get to that in a moment. As you approach, Faye yells, "Open the gates! Open the gates!" And the gates slowly start to open. What would you like to do?
Well,
Go in and continue to.
I'll check the recognizable body.
Okay.
I'll like to inspect the hobgoblin.
Okay. So, go ahead and roll perception for the hobgoblin.
16. Oh, for the hobgoblin.
20.
All right. So, Tim, you were able to recognize some of the tattoos and such, and they are reminiscent of Hearn tattoos styling.
Mm.
And you notice it is one of the guards over the slave pits
Interesting.
from where you were from.
Good to know.
Everyone else is pretty well charred, and there's not much remaining. Even the bodies itself and the weapons are not usable. You might be able to collect some gold if you take some effort here probably later, but for the most part, there is not much remaining. A moment passes, and Weld and Bayan open the gates to reveal some of the townfolk working on buckets to put out the little bit that is burning. And now that you're up closer, you notice that it's not really the barn that's on fire, but more of the vines and stuff that had grown up on the barn. What you may not have realized is that the barn and the fencing are made of a dense wood that is not very easily lit on fire. It's meant to really keep stuff out.
Does Encewood only come from Encewood?
It is a special wood that grows nearby. Sure,
Oh.
yeah.
Why not?
Cool.
As Claude and Sanja jump out to help put out the fire, and the fire quickly starts to settle, and basically only some cinders and stuff are left. Liam leaps from the tower, activating slow fall.
I was like,
And suicide.
I knew it. He's guilty.
he comes down with a 3-point hero, and black, wings come out from behind. It's like, oh no, final boss.
I'm gonna try to run and meet him where he lands.
So both you and Donovan arrive at the same time. As he touches down, he stumbles forward, and Donovan catches him. I'm sorry, Mr. Donovan. I've held watch for the past 3 days, just as you would have done. I may have also used our stack of fireball necklaces. We have none of those in stock now.
It's coming out of your pay.
At this point, Faye has arrived, and with Faye is
Shadow?
Ari. And Ari is attempting to patch a wound that's on Faye's shoulder.
The shoulder.
I was gonna say, Co, what have you been up to?
It's not even there. And Gazmak hurt someone most recently. Let the record show.
Just
They arrived 3 days ago. They were shouting that they were heralds of Era. And when we heard that, we decided to shut the gates. Liam lit the dim flame and held watch. We closed the town and prepared for a fight. They poked and prodded for 2 days. Today, they decided to attack. And she looks up. Sorry about the barn. That was kind of my fault. I was hit by an arrow as I was throwing one of my beads, and it may have gone astray. But we seem to have held them off. There's no sign of this era that they were talking about. But it was a harder fight than we expected. We did our best.
Are you alright? Are there gaps in the defenses? How is everybody?
So you see everyone's pretty well tired and exhausted. It's been 3 days where they've been on edge. And like I said, there's been pokes and prodding. You see that the Ore Breaker, Ore Smasher?
Or Basher.
Ore Basher, there we go. I should pull out the notes here. There we are. The Ore Basher boys seem to have some bumps and bruises. Faye does have a arrow wound to the shoulder. And at this point in time, Liam has passed out. He quite literally held watch for 3 days straight and used up any magical resources that he had.
Is there anyone conspicuous by their absence?
Roll perception.
27.
You don't see the town drunk anywhere. No, no. Pretty much everyone's there that you would expect to see. You even see some townsfolk that were probably outside at the time, and they had somehow gotten them in, maybe through the barn or some other way. But the barn had been barred down. and that's really why the animals were in distress. They've been in the barn for 3 days.
Somebody still has to clean up.
So it has been not a fun time for them.
How many are still out there, if Ori knows?
As far as we can tell, the group that was here are all gone. And from what you can tell, they used a ton of fireball necklaces. Like they're just divots and pockets of 20-foot wide holes where it's just they were letting loose. I don't think the raid party had thought that there would be that type of defense there.
Did they seem to have any leader with them?
The hobgoblin there was doing the majority of the speaking and ordering, but he said they kept saying that Ira is coming.
I'm gonna search the hobgoblin for do a thorough search for any sort of clues, information, so on and so forth.
Okay.
I don't find anything.
Everything's pretty well charted.
Yeah.
You do pick out what you thought might have been a map, maybe at one point in time, but it kind of disintegrates as you're pulling it apart.
I'm gonna go just hang wherever Cypher is. See if I can go back.
I'll try to go help out if there's any help needed at the barn.
Okay.
I know Claude and Sandra went, but...
Okay, so Claude and Sandra are working on just making sure that all the cinders and stuff aren't going to catch again. And as you go in, Ari goes ahead and directs you, hey, would you mind just opening up the barn doors to let the animals out? And you work with that for quite a bit. There's several barn doors, and they're barred down. So
I'm going to go patrol the outside wall to see if there are any small gaps or anything where a goblin-sized enemy could potentially sneak in.
Okay. Roll survival.
I'm with you.
14.
Okay. So you make it down past the barn and a little more just beyond the barn, and it's a decent sized part of the town. You hadn't gone all the way deep into where more of the residential area is, but for the most part, everything looks like it's shored up that you were able to see. Okay. And roll a strength check. I know it's not your forte, but...
That's a natural 1.
Okay, so you even test a couple areas that you think maybe the wood could be a little loose, and you're like, "No, this stuff's in place.
That's some dense wood.
That's some good wood.
This ain't going nowhere." And you're certain of it.
All 60 pounds of me.
Donovan looks to you and asks if you would mind helping with Liam and
yes.
carrying him back to the dim flame.
Sure.
So the two of you kind of help him along, and Donovan gets him to the bed, lays him down, and puts an alarm spell on the doorway, basically so he'll know whenever he gets up.
He looks okay though.
Just exhausted, yeah. So I don't think Liam quite understands that the reason Donovan's able to do what he does up there is because he has that ring of sustenance.
Oh, yeah.
That basically means he can go to sleep for 2 hours, so he can take a quick nap, and he's fine for the day. So Liam insisted on being up there the entire time, as you will eventually have found out. And he's basically like, if Donovan can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I've crashed a bike with that mentality before.
And that's for the after show.
So as you guys get your carts in and everything, everything starts to slow down. Some people are moving back towards their houses, and it is starting to quiet in the streets. What would you like to do?
I'll go see what he's doing.
And by now, you finished up with the barn. And
Cypher, did you find anything on that goblin?
No. No, just a burnt map that wasn't worth anything to begin with. If I had to guess, that was probably a map how to get here. So I couldn't find anything else. I'm going to try to offload some of the equipment that we gained from our vampirates, but I don't know. Kind of at the loss of what to do about this. The hobgoblin, however, it was one of the slavers from back in my world. So
That's the second.
I was going to say it doesn't seem like they're going to be leaving us alone anytime soon. So I don't know who this era person is, but we'd probably be better off going after them because they're not going to stop going after us. So unless we want these people to keep coming to here, I say we go looking for them.
Maybe we should. Sorry.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's OC.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk to Jonathan and see if he's got any notes or books or anything like that about portals around here, right? Because you came through a portal, and he said something about sin magic and something like that.
When did he say all this?
In a private conversation I had. It's not a big deal. But if you came through a portal...
I was going to say something about the pie being a fib, but that's not...
But if you came through a portal, and they're chasing you, then maybe we can find where this portal is and stop it.
But there's multiple ones of those, right? Plus we can still go... Claude and the Prophet's Garden or whatever. I mean, we can make our way over there, see if they have a thing to say.
Now, Cypher, one of the last things that you do remember seeing that hobgoblin was with the person that now calls himself Ira.
Oh, when they sent the dogs after me, right?
Yep.
Good times. Good times.
So, and what you remember about Ira is loading.
Well, let me see. Let's see
Don't keep us in suspense.
Let's see what my notes are. Not very good. Let's see. He said it was a hobgoblin, right? So it wasn't that person.
Yeah, you noticed that this guy hobgoblin was with Ira. He came from your camp. He was one of the guards that was chosen to travel with.
Oh, gotcha. So yeah, all right.
He's an unnamed character. His life barely mattered. Oh,
Apparently not at all.
sadly, just about as much as the caravan leader.
I was going to say, the only reason his life didn't matter is because we didn't ask him his name.
The half-elven name.
That's right. Named characters automatically get player ranks.
So what do you remember about Ira?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is a rod-empowered spirit of wrath. The embodiment of a spirit of wrath.
Yep.
Empowered by.
So he's human. He has the white streaks in his hair. But yeah, he took the rod, used it against you. And yeah, that was the last that you have seen of him. But now this is the second time that you've been warned that he is coming as a party. And you heard it specifically when you were alone with me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And when you stabbed that guy in the face.
yeah.
So yeah, Ira is coming.
Yep.
So you've seen him.
Yeah, you could say I was there at the start. It wasn't by choice. Because immediately he tried to kill me a lot, very much hard. And so yeah, I was too busy running to really pay too close of details. But and I give him the general description that you just gave us. That doesn't. I mean, the crazy thing is, there's obviously this is the second time we've run into him, and we've been, and the people around us have been threatened by him. The other thing is, something tells me that he's not the only one. So
What do you mean by that?
Well, wrath is a sin. There's usually more than one type, so there's probably more than one of him or one person like him. So that's just me guessing. I don't know. That's the only one I've seen. Not anybody I care to tangle with. So, but that being said, either we stay put and they know where we are, or we can run away, or we can go after them and try to stop them.
Do you know anything about the portals? Like, would we be able to even predict where we'd end up in your world?
Not that
seems
I
like a
know of.
gamble.
Again, that just, you know, just because you use it doesn't mean you know how it works. It just showed up and it was easy. It was the only way out. So it doesn't, I can't tell you anything more about it than take you somewhere else, and it's oblong.
That's, you never know. Maybe the outcome will be
Purple, kind of
handy.
hazy.
Yeah, there were lights. It was scary.
Well, I have some information at least I could share. So before we were leaving for our mission, I received a vision when I was praying to my to Aode, and in that vision, she told me that Peace Through Vigilance rather, told me that there might be an artifact in one of the virtue temples. I talked to Donovan a little bit about it. Apparently, north of here, there might be a virtue temple that would contain an artifact that would help us fight Iomade, or fight Ira. No, fight Ira.
That's quite the artifact.
That's quite the part.
Dang, we're taking down gods now.
Dude, we got enough
Level
enemies
two.
without picking a fight
Yeah.
with divine beings. So let's
That would be
do
quite
that.
With Ira rather, and I'm not sure how far away that is. We can talk to. Is Aaron nearby?
He's left at
Okay.
least the
Like I say, we
immediate
probably
area.
want to talk to them because I imagine this is the first time Encewood has really been sieged like this, so we don't want to leave them defenseless again if they're gonna come back. But we could coordinate with the Guardians and see if they want to hold down fort. And if any of you guys want to join me, I plan on
You're going to go
seeking this.
alone.
With anyone that would like to come. I don't know how many people we want to help guard. I don't know if it'll be dangerous. I don't really know anything.
Party.
Nah.
Split
No.
the party.
So if we wanted to have the Guardians stay and we go look for this artifact,
The only thing that'll help us fight here is probably a good thing to get. So
Yomade hasn't led me astray so far. So
Going to an ancient temple, deep in the forest. It's probably gonna be treasure there. Let's do it.
Be nice to at least see if the Guardians are going to hold a council, and if so, explain where we're going so we don't just vanish.
we might be able to get some more directions from Donovan. We talked briefly about it.
Yeah, has everyone talked with Donovan privately?
I guess, yeah.
no,
Okay.
I talk with Aaron if it makes you feel better.
Sure.
She's like, no! Aaron's my guy that I'm supposed to trade with.
I mean, what can I say?
We saw
Donovan is a knowledgeable guy.
He is knowledgeable.
To be fair, you've been chatting it up with Claude, so
Hey,
He reads all the books I don't have to read.
Just ask him. What?
So Cammy walks up. Go ahead and rest for the evening. We will all meet for breakfast and kind of lay out the next plan, I guess. So,
Answers that question.
and she grabs Faye and starts walking towards the inn.
What time of day is it right now?
It's evening.
Evening? Okay.
well, go grab some dinner, I guess. At the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
You get there and nothing's being cooked.
I figured, yeah.
I kind of figured.
Gazmac, you want to make us something?
I accept the challenge.
They just put out one fire.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll whip something up.
I'm going to bed.
All right, so you head to bed.
Yes.
I checked it with Cammy and Faye to see if it's okay if I...
It's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Just have to make sure. All right. I look through I look to see what's available. What ingredients are at my fingertips?
Probably nothing, because the countertops.
I'm a monkey goblin. If anything, I can get to the highest. Anything that's hanging, I can definitely get it.
There's footprints in the bread.
If he uses them
They
right,
look like
handprints.
but they look like handprints.
Oh my god. Yes.
You can knead and look for stuff at
That's
the same time.
That's right.
Is this feet hair?
I'm
or
making,
hand hair? I don't know.
I'm making a pizza. I'm throwing the pizza dough and then I'm like cutting like the pepperoni with my feet.
Oh, man.
So you have most of the baking ingredients that you would need for baking. You do have potatoes, a few Gazmac's cooking area effect of 10 feet. Also, chat, we do have a couple of our people in chat as well, so I won't be the only one looking at things, but they're welcome to respond as well. So, but yeah, so you got some potatoes. You do have some basic meats. There's still leftover pork and some bacon, and you do have a variety of vegetables.
All right.
Almost had a piece of his pie. Yeah, sort of just gave it to that halfling bard that was here.
You did not funny, do you?
No, I thought it was a little unusual.
Did
but...
she? Was she okay after that?
Did
How was
she
it
explode?
She sort of raised her eyebrows on her first bite, so I don't know what that means.
But she ate it all.
Wait,
So
yeah.
You know those cherry bits you people have above your eyes. Ooh, I don't know what that means.
Judging my cooking before I've even rolled the dice once.
So what would you like to cook?
I'm gonna make some potato bacon pierogies.
I thought you were gonna go pierogies.
There we go.
Wow.
Bryce, how to make
Yes.
I think it's oil. You should probably need to create.
Okay.
So you got to create the dough.
Yep.
All right, pulling up the recipe now. Pierogies with Gazmac.
I'm gonna stand by with my arms crossed and watch, and then just like ask if you need anything. Like, let me know.
I'm never gonna need anything.
I'm just gonna watch. I'm making sure you're not gonna slip anything.
Okay.
in there.
What do you believe goes into the basic dough for pierogies?
Flour, salt, water. I think that's it.
Okay. Roll
Wait.
So
for dough.
I'm gonna clarify to the stream. Pierogies are well outside of my cooking range. So what am I rolling?
It sounds like the
D20
recipe for
and
Play-Doh.
A recipe for disaster.
And this is something that's gonna be whatever you roll.
Yeah,
that's
so if you roll
good.
low,
That's right. So we're
Yep.
rolling inverse.
yep.
Yep.
So it'll be your D20
Did
and
you even say potatoes in the?
That's a 19.
Oh god.
What is your crafting?
It's gonna be super rancid.
My
No, so
crafting
that'll
is
be good for.
No.
Oh, bad for us.
Yeah.
Bad for us.
that's a total of 25.
No, you're gonna subtract crafting.
Oh, subtract.
Yeah, because we're
okay.
going inverse.
Okay, so that's 13 then.
13. Okay. So you put together about 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, and then mix in some cold water. It's going to be a little extra floury, but we'll see if that gets cooked off.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a little more floury than normal.
Okay.
What is going inside?
Bacon,
Okay.
potatoes.
Okay.
If they've got some onions,
Okay.
do that as well. And then probably going to need to do like some salt, some pepper, and maybe some oregano.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
All right.
How am I doing?
You're doing great.
All right.
You were correct on the recipe for the dough.
Really?
It's 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then 1 egg beaten.
Oh, yeah.
So,
See, I would have added.
I would have
baking
said
soda.
butter.
and then a little
You
bit
want it
of
to rise.
That's fair.
So,
True.
and some cold water. And it does say that if you want to make them a little
I'm
sweeter,
impressed. I wouldn't.
you are able to add just a little bit of sugar to sweeten it if you were to choose.
fair enough. Okay.
So go ahead and make your second roll for mixing the ingredients.
So that's a 0.
Awesome. So you prepare all the insides. You've now folded them over, crimped them, and now you have to cook them. So one more roll. What will you be cooking them in?
So, like a big pot with a lid.
Okay.
Something like a Dutch oven kind of thing.
Okay.
That, and then, shoot. Do you steam them? Or do you put them in? You steam, yeah. So put some water, put a little bit of water in the bottom to steam it. Steam them, yeah. So kind of like pot sticker kind of things.
I imagine they're like dumplings, and you can do them a bunch of different ways.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Go and roll for it.
That is another 0.
All right. So typically, you would either start by boiling them a little bit, or you are able to steam them. That is an option. It's not, and that turns it more into dumplings than it does pierogies. But typically, you would boil them for a few minutes, and then you would sear them with some cooking oil or butter.
Okay.
And that's usually done, if you can, over more of a grilled type skillet.
Yep.
So you are able to do that as well. And because you chose to steam them, they're going to be stickier than normal, but the insides are incredible.
Nice. All right.
And we're at 3 viewers, so now you know how to make pierogies.
All right, so I try the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like my eyes get real big, and then I just kind of get this sly look on my face and like look over and like, hey Nasher.
Oh, that's new. Yes.
They're,
Mazigok.
these are my goblin special pierogies.
Are they goblin special?
Oh, they're fantastic. You should definitely try one.
So Ben, to explain, they are mediocre to good for most of the party.
Yeah, you should.
The goblin did not like it.
You think they're terrible?
Right.
Which is why he's trying to be sly.
Yeah. Do I notice this slyness?
Roll perception. And you're kind of rolling deception.
24.
Oof.
That's a natural one.
Yeah, so you feel like he's trying to pull something over.
Co, are you here?
Mm,
Are you're here with?
I'm adventurous. I think I'll try one.
All right. Give him one first.
How many did I make?
You made 18.
Okay.
Oh.
So I've had one, so that's 17. So then, sure, they can try. Go for it.
All right.
I'm gonna watch you first.
Well, it's not like anything I've had in the marshes, but it's not bad at all, Mac.
I mean, yeah, great. I'm glad you think so.
He's a lizard. What does he know?
The filling's amazing.
I'm so suspicious coming from a goblin and a lizard.
Come on, Nasha, you could try it.
Oh, I'm trying. But, gosh, Mike, this is good. And I'm not kidding. Can I have another one? I'm actually pretty hungry.
Yeah, have as
Thank you.
have. Well, you do share, but don't. Yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna take one up to Cypher, okay?
yeah, sure. Go for it.
So she wraps one up.
I just looked at him on the back. I'm surprised, but
Yeah, me too.
So you take it up
this
to
is all
Cypher.
Yeah.
Knock on his door.
I'm just gonna knock.
Yes.
I made something. It's actually pretty good.
All right.
If you
So,
want.
I'll take some and eat it because I don't know where it came from. So,
And again, it's a little stickier than what you'd expect, but for you, you're like, yeah, this is. I mean, could have used more vegetables, but
More carrots.
I'm not. I mean, I don't know where it came from. I was not privy to this, so I'm just like, oh well, thank you for the food. It's just kind of like what is normal. So I'm like, all right, appreciate it. Thank you. I was hungry.
I thought you might be.
excellent. You are quite the chef.
Apparently.
And I'm loving these little quizzes that we can throw out.
It's kind of fun.
Y'all gonna be awesome chefs by the time this is done.
Knowing the ingredients and being able to execute a recipe are very different.
All right. So you've finished up the pierogies. What are you going to do with whatever's left over?
I'll take whatever are left over for me, and since I don't like them that much, I'll go and find like the trash and like try and find something like nasty or greasy and like kind of like dip them in that
Garbage water.
something like that.
So you actually wrapped a couple of them in banana peels.
Okay,
And it was very appealing.
sounds like a great.
Oh.
Yes!
I'm satisfied.
That was a good way to end a stressful
There we
couple
go.
days.
All right, so you guys go to bed. Is there anything else you'd like to do before sleeping?
I'm gonna like cross that recipe off my list. Just like no, bad. And then I'll go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll write in the journal and go to bed.
All right. I'm writing a note to Caleb, so you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
dear diary.
Dear diary.
Dream journal. We meet once again in the fields of Elysium.
I'm not there yet, actually. Give a little time.
Wow.
Alright.
I'll knock on your door.
You're gonna knock on my door. Alright. I'm actually excited. I might have a good spell for this. Open up.
Since you like those dough balls so much, you want to try some pie?
This is yours.
Yeah.
Make it tonight.
No. It's really good. Trust me.
Okay.
So this is like the
Playing
1 week.
solitaire.
This is like the week old pie or
Just
whatever.
playing solitaire in my little area.
This is like the week old pie or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like cut her a slice and I cut me a slice and I just like hand it to her. I'm like, go for it. And then I'm just like chow
Roll
down.
survival.
I
Actually,
was gonna
fortitude.
smell it first.
Fortitude.
But alright.
Yeah.
Does it smell weird?
No, it smells like berries.
Just remember, this pie when it was first made was a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't
So-
bad. Wasn't it like the filling was good and the crust was not or something like that?
The crust was a little off.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
okay.
right.
Actually, Bryce, I think I know.
20.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not natural, but 20.
All right. Yeah. So you eat and you're like, it's nearing the end of its lifespan, but it's not bad.
Yeah, next time maybe heat it up in the oven or something like that. You know, that'll really help.
Yeah,
You cast produce flame.
Should have thought of that.
I know. That would have been good.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Just thought you might like that since you're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I didn't know you were into cooking.
I didn't know either.
New hobby.
Trying to be helpful to the group, you know?
Is this your first time?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, if you were just starting out, like, you could potentially bake instead of selling unicorns after this. It's all over. Huh? Just saying. It was pretty
Gazmac's
cool.
eyes, you see the wheels go, and then just ching.
Just question. Just kind of testing my market here. What if I baked unicorns?
You know, I've never tasted a unicorn.
Me neither.
So I don't
Just
really
curious
know.
if you had tried one.
That's why
Well,
Okay.
it sounds
I didn't know
pretty rare.
actually
You'd
cooked the
probably be
pike
able to
with
sell
me.
that
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
high.
Okay.
Maybe. Just
Good to know. I didn't know that.
Put that out there. All right.
All right.
Anyways, Glad you like the pie.
Yeah, of course.
Are we good?
Is he leaving?
Good.
Okay.
As he leaves, can I cast Sigil?
Sure.
I wanna give him a little pie symbol on the back of his neck as he walks out of the room, just to try it.
Okay. Is that a touch spell?
Oh wait, yes it is.
Okay. Roll sleight of hand.
Okay. I don't even know how to do
That's
that.
not a
Where is
thing.
that?
Sorry. That'll be
Thievery?
thievery. Yeah.
Thievery.
Oh,
Okay.
you rolled well.
23.
Roll perception.
So I'm just you should do that.
That's you got lucky. That's a 22.
Okay, so you're able to pull it off.
Okay. Sweet. It fades over 1 week. I'm gonna make it visible, of course.
It's just a big pie symbol on my neck.
Question is it like pi or is it pi like 3.14? Somebody from the Illuminati goes, "Hey, bro."
I just have a little suspicion that spider back then wasn't really a spider, but I'm not gonna say anything about that.
You have to keep in mind also, I have a jacket with a collar, and I have canonically very
good
long
point. Nice
hair.
long white hair.
Extremely long white hair.
Well, can I put it on the back of one of his ears then? It sticks out a little bit.
Sure, that'll work.
Okay. That's it.
I like this little feud you have going on. Alright, so you wake up the next morning. Anasha's once again one of the first ones to wake.
Yes.
She is practicing her arts.
Yep. Working on forms and stretches. Where did I put my pencil?
I don't know.
That's alright. I'll find it.
Good question.
Who else would like to, or
Aha.
you guys are all slowly waking up and heading downstairs. And as you arrive, most of the guardians are there. And breakfast is served.
Cool. What's for breakfast?
This time around, it's primarily fruits and vegetables.
Oh, my favorite.
A lot of fruits and stuff. They do have some vegetables that are there if you wanted to make like a wrap of sorts. But
an omelet or frittata.
Ooh.
Fresh
So.
vegetables. That's where I'm at.
Is Aaron there then?
Aaron is there, yeah.
I'll just strike up conversation. So Aaron, is this then the first full siege that Encewood has ever experienced?
This is the first time that we've fallen under siege, yes, and I'm glad our defenses held the way that they did.
Right.
This dense wood is really good wood.
Glad you guys have
Very
that.
dense.
I
Held up
gather
under
by
pressure.
name.
Knock on wood.
Is that the scientific
Under pressure,
name?
you say?
Is Densewood the scientific name? What's
We're just gonna start asking for like the last name for everything.
What's its
we see.
origin?
Yes. I get the genus.
So, but Aaron says, yeah, but we prepared for it. I mean, we have traveled before, and we wanted to be sure that the kids knew what to do. They acted the way they should.
That's good.
So, and it seems that everyone survived, no casualties in town. So,
Well, I imagine we're probably going to try to make sure we have good defenses here, staying here. Are you guys planning on staying in Encewood from now on until we can figure out?
if Ira is coming, and we're going to prepare for that. So, the plan is for us to start preparing. We'll shore up defenses, maybe get some more of those fireball necklaces put together. But yes, we're going to prepare.
Cypher.
Yo.
On a scale of 1 to really scary, how scary is Ira?
Really scary. Like,
So you've seen him fly. You saw him cast fireball, which is more than you've seen from Donovan.
I was gonna say, the scariest thing I've seen in my life, bar none.
Yeah, and he would be the highest level person that you've seen.
Like, I've seen some pretty horrible things, and that's the worst.
I'm worried that
So far.
if they can spare a group after us, and they can spare a group to attack Encewood, what is a real show gonna look like? And are we gonna be able to stand? Oh, you gonna be able to stand it here in Encewood?
We should be able to hold our own. I mean, if the kids were able to do this, then we are slightly more knowledgeable on how to deal with warlike advances. So, is there anything that you know that might be able to help?
Well, we had talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Iomade in a vision has been guiding me on telling me about a virtue temple north of here that might have an artifact that can help us fight Era. So we have the directions needed, and I think we might send a party out there and go look for this artifact. We don't know how far away it is, but it shouldn't be too far. We plan on going, probably going to search for that and then rendezvousing back here. And if it'll help us fight Era, then it'll be well worth the mission. So,
Well, it sounds like that should be our plan then. The four of you travel to find this artifact, and we'll prepare defenses.
all right.
How much time was in between the group that surprised us in the forest and the group that sieged Encewood here?
It's probably been a little over a week.
I don't know if they're regular, but I feel like maybe trying to be back in a week would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna go, we're gonna need to get supplies and pack and all that sort of stuff.
Was there a lot of supplies and things that were destroyed in this battle, or?
For the most part, it was.
I mean,
Most of the necklaces were.
I know those were used.
We used some healing supplies, but there might still be some left. And given the day, we could probably make use some stuff if we needed to.
Right.
Brock, is that item ready? Just the boys finished it before the siege. You all also have a cart prepared for you.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And horses then to pull it. How are we going to pull it?
I heard something about one of you being a unicorn salesman, so I was hoping you could provide. No. You'll have two horses to pull the cart.
Do we know? Oh, actually, I could probably ask. Orbasher here.
Mm-hmm.
Orbasher, you don't happen to have any striking runes in stock, would you? That we'd be able to fit any of our weapons or swords with?
We should be able to fit them with a striking rune, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First level of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How much would that cost?
Or how long would it take to?
Well,
I can set it today if that's what you're wanting. And,
yeah, I think before we go, it'd probably be a good idea to try to upgrade our weapons if at all possible.
for a striking rune, trying to get it in today, you're looking at 65 gold.
Okay.
So.
And that, if I understand correctly, it gives you +1 to your attack or a status bonus.
In order for us to put the striking on, though, we do need to make sure that your weapon is sound enough, which will require weapon potency 1, which is 35 gold.
Okay, so all in all, it would be 90 gold.
100.
Or 100, okay.
Yep.
I can help you code some of that. I don't need it yet.
I'm gonna try to sell a thing of leather armor, and then just the rando stuff that he told me was worth 25 gold.
Okay, so you get the 25 gold, and you said leather armor.
I can't remember how much that's worth. It's silver. It's not much.
Yeah, it's not much.
So, Bryce, in my weapon surge, it says if your weapon has a striking rune, this instead increases the number of dice from the striking rune by 1 to a maximum of 3 extra weapon dice.
Right. So if you look at your so instead where's your longsword? So instead of 1d8, it'll be 2d8 plus.
Okay, so doing weapon surge with a striking rune attached basically
Would make it 3d8.
Okay. And a striking rune, if I put it on my longsword, would make me do 2d8 base.
Yes.
That's really good.
It's super nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Just let me know what you need extra. As long as you
much
promise
is it?
not to hit my shoulder, I'll give it to you.
I
I
promise.
thought I had a sheet printed out for it,
Wow.
but I don't.
Yeah, I would
now
just
that
need
he's
3
doing
gold.
more
Oh, just three.
damage.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need anything else after that.
Yeah.
Leather armor, 10 silver back.
Okay.
Are you crossing it off now?
So Brock, I think if you have the resources available, I think we will go ahead and pay you the 100 gold.
Sure thing. Your sword then?
Yep. So I gave him my sword. Anasha gave me 3 gold, and I gave him my 97.
Alright. So mark that off.
Yep.
And by midday, he'll have it sharpened and fitted. And you'll have the sword of your dreams.
Does that increase my attack at all? Like,
I'm going to go ahead and
hitting?
add it to you now, and then I'll let you know the stats on it.
Okay.
From the selling the trinkets, I get 25 gold, and I'll actually give everybody. Jeez.
This is your longsword, correct?
Yeah, this is my longsword.
8 gold. So everybody take 8 gold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cypher.
And could I ask Brock, there's no way he could probably get 2 weapons in one day, right? That'd be too much time.
I can have the boys work on it as well.
Can you do it on these? Show them the hand wraps.
Yes, we should be able to fit them.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I'm going to go up to Donovan's and buy that other wand, the wand of mage armor.
Okay.
Go grab that.
I'll go with Gazmac, and once they're done dickering and doing their things,
All right, so it's 2d8 plus 4 is your damage, and your melee is plus 9 plus 4 minus 1.
Plus 9, plus 4, minus 1?
Yep, for your 3 attacks.
Okay. Nice. That's a huge upgrade.
I show once they're done doing their thing, I show Donovan the healing potion I got.
Okay.
And I ask him to basically check it and make sure it's safe to actually use. It won't come down with anything horrific.
Okay. So he looks it over and he says it is mixed with someone's blood, but it does not appear to have any of the vampiric cells in it. So it's going to taste a little weird, but it shouldn't hurt you in any
Shouldn't
way.
harm him. All right. Good to know.
So Nasha, you're doing it as well?
Yes, I can.
Bryce, does that increase my crit as well? So would the crit be 4d8?
Yes, it'll do double damage.
Okay.
Is that 100 as well?
Wait, I asked if it changed crit at all. You said it didn't.
Sorry, I was thinking crit range.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So it will actually change this to 4d8 plus. Okay, so it is 8.
So yeah, I was wrong on your adding 1 to the damage as well.
Okay, so it's not a plus 5; it's plus 4.
Plus 4 still. Yep. All right, and now we're going to Nasha.
Because if this number changes when you crit, it doubles. So if this is
Okay, if that's
5,
4,
then
then that'll be
a
8.
10.
Okay, but gotcha. Yeah.
But it's still a 4, so
It's
it's
an
still
8,
it's
yeah.
still an 8.
Makes sense.
All right, so I have to figure out how to do it. Remind me to work your character sheet later, but it'll be plus 9, plus 5, plus 1 for your to hit, and then it will be 2d whatever your dice is for your.
Okay.
For your fist, it'll be 2d6. For your tiger claw, it's 2d8.
Mm-hmm. And that would be also 100 gold?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, and he takes them off, and he's like, okay, this is going to be a little
Trickier.
Sorry.
harder. So, whenever you get them back later, it's going to have a small leather piece here. And that will have Oh, it's only for your main hand. So if you're doing any offhand, your offhand will still be one regular dice.
So do I need to specify when I punch things?
So you haven't been, but yes, some you're able to do multiple attacks where basically you use both hands. But that's a different feat for later. So, but yeah. So whenever you get it back, you do see a small gem that's embedded, the color of your choice, and that's going to be your striking rune. And same for you guys. You have a gem embedded in the hilt.
Cool.
Snazzy buttons.
And you said you purchased the
Wand of Mage Armor.
Wand of Mage Armor. Okay.
What does that do? Gives you
Gives me +1 AC.
nice.
For, do you know what the duration is?
It's like
It's an hour per
hour.
level.
It's something like
It's
that.
the
Yeah.
same.
Yep.
Because it lasts for a while.
It does. Yeah. Which is why getting a wand of it's better than spending your sorcerer spell on it.
Yep.
I could be wrong. Let's find out.
Oh, yeah.
Doing lots of prep. Alright, well,
Co,
Yes.
since we're both getting our stuff done at the same time, you didn't hear where in the forest this orphanage
It's
was?
north of here actually, and I do have a
It lasts
compass.
all day
all day.
Yeah,
until
Really?
the, until the
So
next time
is
you make your daily
my-
preparations.
My first interaction with Aomade. In Peace with the Vigilance
So,
himself, there was
What
a
is the big thing that changed?
hilt.
Was it used to give you
This,
+4?
pike had a compass
Now it gives you
attached,
+1,
and,
but it lasts
it's
all
been
day.
guiding me,
Mhm.
and that's
So-
actually what led me here. Actually, so right now, since this morning, it's changed directions
Interesting.
and is pointing north.
So that's kind of cool.
So I plan on following it and hoping that'll lead us to the Virtue Temple. So
Wait, you got a what?
Sorry,
the compass attached to the pike.
Ah,
It's
changed
engraved.
direction. It's engraved in it.
The engraving itself changed.
Okay.
Interesting. You don't have any arm at all, do you?
no.
So yeah, that's the thing. If you were to try to use it on somebody, well, I guess you can't, can you? Yeah, it basically adds to your unarmored one, so it doesn't stack with normal armor.
Yep.
Yep. So you could also use it on Anasha if you ever wanted to.
Okay.
that
Probably won't
is-
do that.
I was gonna say that is cool.
Probably won't do
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
It doesn't
that's
say
a character.
stealth.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
should have
character.
good AC
Cast
anyway,
on
so
Yeah,
you're the highest AC out of all of us.
I'm dodgy.
Higher is always better.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
At least in this version.
okay. Well, there we go. All right. Well, since that was pretty quick, I'm gonna spend the rest of my day doing my bargain hunting feat.
Okay.
So it says I can earn income using my diplomacy.
All right.
Spending my day bargain hunting and reselling items for profit.
All right.
I don't know how
You're a
that works,
flipper.
other than rolling for diplomacy
I was gonna say,
potentially.
just aside, I'm gonna buy
Low
probably
vision? You have low vision?
flush myself back up to 10 bolts
Huh.
and then add another 5 on top of
It's
that
not-
for my hand
it's not
crossbow. So
the
a total of
best, but-
15. So I'll buy a total of 8.
Okay.
Oh, you can't roll too.
I don't.
Yeah, I haven't had
We'll call this over.
Works for me.
Probably.
All right. You are what level? 2?
2.
All right. What's your trained level for diplomacy?
8
8.
plus 8.
So are you?
Sorry, trained. Yes.
You're trained. Okay. All right. What task level would you like to attempt? 0 through 20.
Oh gosh. So, oh, man. So basically, if I don't hit that level, I fail.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna say 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Because
like,
because
isn't it like math involved? I thought it wasn't just a straight.
There are other things that factor to this, so
okay.
it will not just be a regular 15.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's
There's stuff added
significantly-
and subtracted
Okay.
to it.
That changes things.
Yeah.
That's why.
Let's go with the 10.
Okay.
Be more conservative.
Okay.
I have no idea how.
Go ahead and roll diplomacy.
17.
All right, so you did shoddy work.
Anyone who knows Gasmac isn't surprised.
And you gained 7 silver.
Okay. Whopping 7 silver.
It's more than you had before, right?
That's true.
Hey, any money's money.
Shoddy work. You're kidding me. What an insult. These people don't know a good deal if it hit them in the face. Gotta find me a horse and a carrot and I'll sell him a unicorn.
There you go. Alright, so
7
what else would you guys like to do for your day? Eventually you guys are all going to get your weapons back.
Yeah, we are probably gonna be still waiting on the weapons till
It'll be midday to
midday.
mid-afternoon,
Okay.
yeah. By the time they get both of them set and get the leather attached to where you can still put it on. So it's almost made it sort of a glove, but not quite. So it's got like finger holes and stuff that you're able to put your hands through. And then the rest kind of wraps up.
Nice, like before.
Yep. So almost like training mitts
Okay, yeah.
if you're a boxer.
On the one hand.
So it's still morning-ish.
Depending on when you want to do stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's true. I mean, I could. Is Donovan up at the Tin Flame
Yeah, he
now
would
at
be
this
there.
point?
If you go in there, I'm gonna go. I want to make sure Liam's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might go over there and just try to continue our conversation about see if I can learn more about the virtue temples, I guess, because I
Okay.
think we talked a little bit about it, but
All right. So, you will also find Claude there as well, and they're discussing some stuff. So go ahead and roll perception as you walk in.
Both are just in.
Both.
that's 14. Great.
Whee! 18.
Okay. So as you walk in, you do overhear a little bit of the conversation, and it sounds like they were discussing where those temples might be, and that they're likely a mirror of each other. So they're probably in the same places in both worlds. And that if you are looking for one temple or another, they're going to be the opposite. So whatever sin it is, you'll have the associated virtue as well.
All right. Well, I'll sort of go up, and this is Claude and Donovan
Yep.
talking about. Okay, so I'll sort of go up and say, "Hey, Claude. Hey, Donovan. I noticed you were discussing the virtue temples."
Oh yes, with the talk of sin magic and what Claude knows from everything that he's discussed with the desert, I'm sure that more than likely what the closest temple is forgiveness.
Closest temple to here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really good to know.
So the one that you will be looking for is the temple of forgiveness. It would be Wrath's opposite.
Would that be Ira? Was Ira the god of wrath? I can't remember. Was that mentioned? Well, not the god, the sin.
I might have overspoke.
I was gonna ask how much we know or not.
So no, yeah, you don't know that. So
Okay.
rewind. That the temples will be closest to. They're in similar locations as to the other temples.
Okay.
So
So they're all.
Does that mean that we could have Ira just show up any time?
it depends on where he came through a doorway. The doorways should reflect the same area as well, at least generally. It's going to work a little like teleport does, though, where it's not always exact. It could be off by miles, even. So, but yes, they do come from similar places.
So if there's an Ira, is there a forgiveness persona?
There could be. It depends on what the item is that you find.
I was gonna say, if it's wrath, what would be the opposite of that? Mercy?
No, it's forgiveness.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, no one knows that it was the temple. Wait, you actually do know it's the Temple of Wrath.
Yeah, because I saw it in Dwarven script.
Yep. Did you? I don't remember if you shared that though.
I did not.
Okay.
Okay.
But
so
I-
don't know that.
I did say that he was a being of wrath.
That's true. Yep. Okay,
A
so
big group huddle.
back at it.
You're welcome for my
Thank you.
service.
I just know Wrath was
Some parts of
mentioned.
that might not be canonical. Might have to cut that.
So yes, it is likely forgiveness is the temple that's closest to us. And I don't know anything about the artifacts other than what I've seen out of what could be a coin. But the artifacts
Coin?
don't
tell.
always possess, based on what I've seen.
You know always what?
Possess.
Oh, okay.
That's good, so we're not necessarily going to get sucked into something else.
No,
Or
you
blown up, or...
no. It could just be an artifact that counters the other artifact.
Well, Donovan, I don't know if you heard our conversation with Aaron yesterday, but we plan on sending
You talked with the Era yesterday?
Aaron.
Aaron.
Oh, I thought
Aaron.
you said Era.
No. No.
Someone can be trusted.
With Aaron yesterday.
That's why you're always stabbing people we like.
I know who coordinated the attack.
Ko gets possessed.
Slowly. Yeah.
So talking with Aaron.
Yeah, and we plan on going in search for this virtue temple.
Yeah, that's what we talked about this morning. I was
Yes,
there.
everyone's
Oh, you were
there.
there. Okay.
Everyone's
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were there or not.
Thanks for noticing.
All you non-lizards look alike.
To be fair, you were reading a book, you know.
there.
I was.
Quiet in the corner.
Have you all heard of these temples apart from what Kosh has shared?
Other than that, Claude had mentioned that the temples were made at the time of the divide.
Right, I'd forgotten about that.
So I would assume that there are 7 temples of sin and 7 temples of virtue. And who knows if they're both are all on the same side or not.
I buy 30 gold worth of material from Donovan. I'm gonna start working on something.
Okay.
Sorry.
Craft check?
Okay. I thought you said crap check. That's different. All right. Ooh.
Gotta make sure you're healthy.
Oh, I came down with something.
That was close. 10. Not very good, but not terrible. Yay for average.
Still can't believe I did shoddy work.
I imagine if you'd
It's
gone
your
with a
first
5.
time.
You chose really high.
Yeah. Like
I have no context
I know.
to go off of.
It's probably... Shoddy's probably...
I don't know what else is going into this.
What level's the thing you're creating?
1.
1. Okay.
I'm not like being like real secretive about it,
I
but
like secrets. It's fine.
It is.
I don't want to know. All right, so you're able to make some progress on it. You're looking probably another 3 days or so.
I figured. Cool.
It's gonna be a hot air balloon.
Oh.
That would be kind of. See, now you're giving me ideas.
All right. So, anything else you guys want to talk with Donovan and Claude about?
No chance you're coming with us this time. I'm asking Claude.
I don't believe this time. No.
Well, if I see a mountain lion, I'll think of you and try to hit it this time.
Fair.
We're looking for a boar, a leopard, or a dire bear. Come on.
You all are much more capable than when I first met you already. So.
Thanks to you for keeping us alive to get us this far. I asked Donovan if it's alright just to go see. Is Liam awake, actually?
Yeah, Liam's in his room just still resting, but
We don't
he's
have to
awake.
talk, but I was just gonna say hi and
Sure.
tell him he was brave for staying up that late, long.
Sure. So you knock on the door, it opens. How can I help you?
You don't have to help me.
Are
You can
you
help
looking
me
for any
by-
specific books today, or
Just stay there, okay?
and then he just sits back on his bed?
You can help me by getting a lot of rest and not doing any work for a little while.
That sounds like a great idea. I'll do just that, ma'am. Just for you.
I appreciate it. I was just gonna say you were very brave, and I don't think I've ever stayed awake for 3 days in a row before. So you've done something that not very many people I know have done.
Thank you for the kind words.
Anyways, good job. You guys are some pretty capable kids, and I'll say, I couldn't do anything like this when I was a kid.
They told us what to do. We just kind of did it. So and it worked out.
You did it very well.
Thank you.
And I'm serious. Stay down and rest, okay?
And he lies back and thank you.
I don't think I had anything else I was going to do.
I was bargain hunting all day.
Yep.
Made 7 silver.
And he's working on stuff. So
I mean, I would say hi to Faye. Same sort of idea, but she's back at the end. We can do that anytime.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a conversation.
All right. So you guys kind of wrap up your day. I'm assuming you'll be leaving in the morning.
So, how are we on supplies, tents, food, everything? We good?
I've got my tarp. I'm good.
I know we slit a thing in the back of the tent. I can't remember if we
That's
ever
it,
fixed that. Okay.
He fixed it. So you still have
Oh, yeah,
that.
you rolled
You have that tent
Alright.
and his tarp.
Were you able to get any health potions or healing supplies? Well, you got didn't you get
think we
something?
should-
A healer's kit or something? You got healer's tools.
Yeah, healer's kit, so I can make healer's checks. I just can't do it in combat.
Right. Okay.
What about food? Water.
Well, Gazmac, if those pierogies say anything, I think you can.
Why would I
Be
make
the
those
hand.
again?
Because they were good, even though I thought you might have poisoned it at one point. I'll be honest.
We're pretty good.
What are you trying to pull?
I'm being
I don't
totally
trust
honest.
them.
Those were pretty good.
I don't trust them at all. Thank you. But I can't cook with nothing. I might be good. I cook it.
I like to think you add the tail as a third.
I might be good at cooking, but I can't cook with nothing. Alright? So, as long as we have some supplies or something like that. I don't know. Do we even know how far of a journey this is?
That is a valid question. Do we know?
Well, he said the Temple of Forgiveness was in the desert, right? Was that correct?
In a desert?
Or not
no,
by the
it's
not in the
basically
desert.
where you guys found me.
Yeah.
So it's
Couple days travel.
I was gonna say 4 days ish.
Yeah, about 4.
Okay.
I guess maybe in the morning we go and get supplies from
Ari?
Ari.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. Said her name.
I was gonna say
name.
I have trail rations.
She stitched my jacket. I know.
I was gonna say we can just get simple trail rations and
Yeah.
be on our
Sure.
way.
Enough to last 8 or a few extra days for stretches.
That'll work.
Yeah, they come in 10 usually as a.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hard tech.
And in fact, you guys should all still have
I was gonna say,
a week's worth of
Probably
They've been
rations right
feeding
now.
us
They
pretty
should
well.
have some, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
We never got those traveling sausages.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we ate them.
You
did.
guys were
Oh,
eating
yeah,
them
we
along
did.
the
Yeah,
way.
we
They
ate
just
them on the
weren't
way out.
given
Okay.
to you specifically.
Got it.
Yes.
What town did we meet Cypher in again?
It was near Pikes Point. It was.
I'm looking at it.
I want to say it was like right over here at the
Oh,
edge
the-
of the forest.
did it
It
didn't
was
have a name?
yeah, it was on this side of the river, and it
Mhm.
was basically right
Yeah.
near those crossroads.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
Yep. Nice map.
I secretly think he's bitter. I don't know this place
I
as
don't
well
know why
as
you
Anasha
printed
does.
it for them and not for us.
I don't know. It was unexpected, really.
Yeah, they're from here. They don't
Yeah.
need a map.
You don't need a map. You know this place. You've traveled
No,
everywhere
I
and
was
saw
always-
things.
I've traveled a good bit.
I
Yeah.
figured you
yeah,
knew places better than
He's
me.
been everywhere, man.
All right, so you
Just
are.
hoping Gazmag would bust out into some Johnny Cash.
Are you wanting to get some extra supplies or? Yeah, no, maybe so.
If we've already got a week's worth of ration, whatever.
I'm good to
Plan on
go.
being gone a week, so.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. If it's 10, that would.
I am good to go.
All right.
As long as we're not getting exhaustion.
So you wake up the next morning. You do have breakfast. Nothing too terribly special, but you are able to get some extra biscuits from her as well. So Cami has prepared you some extra biscuits, some fruit, and a few more of the sausages, and that'll be enough to give you about 2 breakfasts worth of food if you were wanting to use them. So 2 meals.
Nice.
Thanks, Faye. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Faye, is she good?
She's recovering, yeah.
Jules is not giving any.
Yeah, we were able to get a salve from Sanja, and it's healing nicely.
It's great here.
So,
All right. Let's hit the road.
Ready?
Let's do this, yeah.
Are we going on our cart and horses, I suppose, rather than walking?
it's up to you. I mean, it's going to be much more or longer than a week if you're going to walk.
Oh. Okay. You're the horse person, right?
Yeah. I sell.
He's like, no, mighty goblin.
To be clear, I sell them. If you want me to sell them, I'm your guy. Piloting, not my thing. For starters, this horse is a little big for me.
You sell uniponies.
What is the animal?
If they're available.
handle check.
I'm probably going to go with either nature or survival.
Gotcha.
Well, Anasha, do you want to be the horse keeper?
Oh.
You are the
Hey,
druid.
Cypher. You good with horses? You work with them much?
She doesn't like horses.
No.
Which is sad because I love horses, but I don't like horses at all.
I mean, I can try if you're utterly averse to it, but
Yeah, I've never even ridden a horse.
All right, I
We're
sat
not
next to
riding a
Claude,
horse.
right?
You did.
I would have seen how to like.
They're
They're hitched to the cart.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just do this thing. It's not that bad.
yeah, but horses require more than just being shaken a rope at. You do have to do other stuff to them occasionally.
Yeah, you feed them. Oh, you're right. You're right. You said yeah. That's all you need. I forgot about that part.
This is going to go real well.
Cypher, I'll do it if you'll stay up and help me watch, help me.
I'll ride up there and,
Okay.
and help.
And during some of the time, Claude had shown you a little bit of how to maneuver them. And
Maybe I'm familiar, I just don't like it.
yeah, so you were at least there. You listened because you're actually paying attention to what Claude had to say, but you've not done it yourself. You weren't comfortable to do it yourself yet. So
What's your deal with horses?
Did we know that you didn't like them? Weird.
Anyways, ready?
sure.
Let's
Probably
head
also
out.
do a survival check before we leave in that area behind where all the people were, or all the goblins were.
You're
10
welcome.
minutes. Is that okay?
So wait, what?
Over where the goblins and other creatures were attacking from in the woods areas. I know that they said that they receded, but if I can do a survival check and kind of see what they were comprised of, if there was anything unusual besides what they told us was attacking.
Okay.
That would
So as you're leaving,
Be
you
nice.
pause at the front gates and roll perception.
15.
15. From what you're able to tell, there might have been some goblin dogs. Most of the stuff that you've kind of seen from them before. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then continue on your way.
Yeah.
And roll
Great job.
nature or survival, whichever you would like.
Is assisting a thing in this guy?
It is.
Aid other or whatever?
Exactly.
It is, I believe, yeah.
How's that work? Mr. DM?
Is 13?
If it's the same as before, I just barely. I have a 10 for survival.
If these horses run off on us,
They're attached to a wagon. I mean,
Yeah.
Which means it's really bad.
Exactly. We're gonna pop a wheelie and then
Listen to
we'll
the
go
horses.
horses.
The horses come off the ground.
It is not the same.
Well, how does it work?
So the typical DC is 20.
Oof.
oh,
Wow.
The GM can decide if it wants to be lesser or greater than that based on what you're trying to do.
Isn't that true of anything in this game?
Yes.
True.
But yeah, the base is typically 20.
Woof.
That's a high.
That's a critical failure then on my part then.
Ooh. Alright, so what'd you get?
Not that great. 13.
13, and you critically failed your aid, so it's 12 now.
Awesome.
It's off to a rocky start, and you think maybe it's the craters and stuff there, but it's just the horses are not quite getting in step together, and it takes you a little bit of time to go, oh, okay, they have to pull at the same time, kind of at the same rate. Okay, cool. and you're just white knuckling the
Stiff as a board.
All right, are you guys going to travel throughout the night?
Not unless someone's
I
going
mean-
to switch, right?
I've got dark vision, so I can
you could
handle
take
it.
shifts and like
Okay.
sleep in the carriage while we keep moving.
I mean, the horses have to rest too at some point.
oh,
That's
that's true.
We shouldn't wear them.
Horses have to rest.
Yeah. I don't like them, but they'd have to rest.
Horses are one of those things that you just use until they fall over. Right, guys?
Once they fall over, you just get
Highly
the other one.
replaceable.
That's
yeah.
right.
Trust.
They just go until they
That's what
drop.
the Pony Express
They're
is
not
for, right?
super useful. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we'll
So
we'll
we'll
rest
rest.
it.
We'll rest.
They're single-use items.
All right, so
Deploy.
are you traveling for 8 hours or 10 hours?
Oh, all 10 if we can.
10, yeah.
Okay,
Like, there's no
so
day
that
left
will
for
push the horses one day. So typically your travel is usually about 8 hours until the horses start getting tired.
Okay.
You are able to push them, but if you push them too many days in a row, they are going to be getting more of like an exhausted type trait.
Maybe we'll just do.
And the check gets harder.
That's with like a break in the middle of the day or something.
So typically you would travel for 8,
I see.
then you'd have 8-ish, 6 to 8 hours of downtime, and then
Alright.
you'd also sleep
Mhm.
if you were going to do that. Otherwise, you need to give them a few hour break before you start moving them again.
Okay. Well, what do you guys think?
I mean, we could probably just do
Down
the
the road
typical
for a
8
bit.
hours. We're not in a crazy push rush to get them. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say we rush now, we'll pay for it later, so we may as well.
If
So
we're gonna
go
rush, we
steady
may
with
as well
the
rush
race.
on the way back.
Yeah. Work our way up to
Right.
a rush.
Yeah.
All right, so you travel for 8, and who's going to set up camp? And is anyone going to try to scavenge for food and such?
I can scavenge for food.
I'll try to.
I
I'll
have
try
my
to set
hand at
up,
hunting.
set up camp.
I
Do I
could,
roll survival for that?
I could help Co maybe.
All right, Josh, survival for setting up camp.
24,
24.
and I'll set up the alarm
Okay.
snare
Nice.
around.
I rolled survival for food.
Okay.
Can I help him?
You are able to help. If you
Okay.
would like to use one of your abilities, you could help him even
Like
more.
the survival one?
Like the survival
Like
With
the
your druidy
knowing what
type
kind of
stuff?
animals are
Survey
within.
wildlife?
Yeah, that one.
Alright.
Yeah,
It's
we do.
a check against the DC determined by you.
So roll nature.
Oh no. Nothing. I don't know nothing. It was a 3, so
That's important because you can
9.
critically fail in this game.
Okay, so
And I
9
rolled a
total.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are at a 14 now. So you were able to scavenge
There's
and
gonna be significantly less helping.
Yeah.
You're on your own, bud.
That's right.
so you are able to find a little bit of food. You find a rabbit, so it's not a lot, but it would be able to give you a little bit of extra food.
Cool. I found a leaf.
So you are able to cook this up. We're just gonna do a community watch. So everyone will roll perception, and we'll average them.
Ugh.
9.
16.
By 24.
13.
So 8, 16, 24, that's average 16, and then whatever yours was, right?
Yeah.
What was yours? 13?
13. So call it
14, 15?
14 or 15.
14, 15. Okay. You make it through the night. Nothing really approaches your camp. Josh did Cypher did a good job of setting up camp in a place that was more hidden away. So, all right.
Well done.
Next day of travel. Is there anything you'd like to do? Go ahead and roll.
Crafting check?
Yeah, roll 2 crafting checks. One for the first day of travel.
All right, so that's a 17 and an 18.
Okay. You continue crafting. You haven't quite hit a critical pass yet, so. All right. Next day, you guys travel. Seemingly uneventful. You don't really pass anyone on the road, but you've now made it up to just beyond the crossroads there.
Cool. Can we make another crafting? This is our third day
So-
or second day?
This is. You've already rolled for the 2 days now.
Okay.
So, setting up camp.
That one's not quite as good. It's only a 12.
Okay.
Oh, hunt again. That's a 17.
I won't help.
I'm
A
going to
7.
forage for berries.
Okay.
That's an 8.
Okay. You find some what appear to be dark berries on the ground.
Gosh.
You can decide if you want to collect them or not.
I'll squish one
Okay.
before I pick it up.
Okay.
Just to see how it.
It's a very fibrous berry.
A little juicy, and it does appear to have like some grass or green in it.
Oh, great. Dingleberries.
Do I see him doing this?
No, you're setting up camp.
Oh, that's right.
I'll take all of them.
All right, so you got.
I'll put them in
This is
one of
gonna
my
be-
frozen bugs.
Chilled rabbit fruit.
All right, so
I was gonna go deer poop.
you've
deer
got
fruit,
20 deer nuggets.
Nice, so nice.
I know a place where you
Deer
can
berries.
sell those.
Deer berries. That's the new name.
I'd like to try to create the weather predictor just to see what tomorrow's gonna look like.
Okay.
Rolling in from the west.
So, based on what you're able to tell, it is going to be partly cloudy, maybe some rain.
Okay.
And
I rolled a 17.
roll a 17. All right, you're able to gather some what looks to be some wild onions and some wild potatoes, and you're able to cook those or work on those for dinner. You
If you
generally
want to try
cook them.
cooking, you can try cooking.
I was gonna say you can generally cook them, or we can have a cook-off.
Ooh. I don't know if I'm really ever cook all that much.
So yeah, you basically bake the potatoes and you end up wrapping them with some of the onions to give it some flavor.
Nice.
So nothing special, but it's enough.
Where's the flavor?
Go ahead and roll your perception checks.
Natural 1.
Oh dear. 8.
23.
20.
But my total,
Actually,
total is
26.
7.
Okay.
So 7, 8.
23 and 26.
Anybody want to math that?
It's a number.
It's a number, right?
71 or 72
70.
Oh, that's total.
total. Yeah. So divide
divide
that by
by
4. So that's 16? 15 or 16.
Okay.
A little better than last time, right?
No, that's wrong. That's a 64. So that's,
Oh, okay.
That's a, yeah,
So,
that's a 16.
All right. You make it through the night. You do hear some wolves howling, but they seem to be going in an opposite direction from where you camped.
Cool.
Okay. The next day, it starts off with a little bit of a mist, and by mid-afternoon, it's kind of cleared up and it's a little muggy. Craft check,
20.
and that will finish it off.
Awesome. So just when I finish it all, or as I'm finishing it, I kind of basically... Are we traveling when I finish this? Is it the end of the night, beginning of the night? Or beginning of
You're
the
still
day?
traveling. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I turn around because I'm working. I figure I'm working out at the front, and it's about yay long. Yeah, just trying to figure out how big he is. So I'm like, Gazmac,
Yeah.
cast flame on this.
Okay.
Do,
Produce flame.
do you want to step out of the car?
Nope.
Oh, please don't miss.
Maybe hold it over the edge.
Nope.
Just not in front of the horses.
Okay.
Roll to attack.
Oh gosh.
Please, oh gosh. I
What's
mentioned
my
I'm
what's
far
my
away.
you're
yeah.
in the back of the car. That's as far away as you can get.
You caught me off guard. Why can I not find where it is? That's a total of a 10.
You miss. Just flies off the cart.
It's a stick that I'm telling him to cast on. It doesn't. I wouldn't imagine it has more than a 10 to hit.
I was kind of going off your AC because you're holding it.
No,
So-
but I'm asking him. I'm like, hit this.
Okay.
Because I'm not dodging it. I'm not trying for it to be difficult.
Okay.
To hit.
So he starts to throw it, and you're like, no, just
Pretty much.
Okay.
So as soon as your flame spell hits it,
Mhm.
you see runes just run down the side of it, and it actually starts to lengthen, and it becomes something of like a walking staff with the ends start to glow. And I flip it over in my hand and hand it to you. Here you go, buddy. You have a staff of fire.
Thank you.
What does that do?
I'm just gonna. This isn't gonna catch the car on fire, right?
Only if he makes it.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Somebody was sad that they didn't get any cool stuff when they were doing
Yeah.
stuff, so now somebody
Yeah.
has cool stuff.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. I do have a cool jacket though,
You have a very cool jacket.
and 2 mugs full.
Full of
Yeah.
tear
Full of
turds.
What? No,
One
one
mug
is
full of
full of deer
deer
turds. The other one is still full of 14 cut up strawberries, a handful of
Yeah,
blueberries,
way
and a
back in
handful
the
of
day.
raspberries. So what does this do? Staff of fire.
So basically, it's you can use it to cast produce flame or flaming hands, I believe is what the level 1 will do. Lets you cast cantrips and that flaming one. And you can heighten it, and you can actually charge it at the beginning of the day. I think with 3 charges, and it doesn't cost you out of your spells.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you do it as part of your daily preparations. And then I think you get 3 level 1 charges, and then the cantrips are obviously free, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you can use it to actually touch something.
Do you
to
have
light it on
burning
fire.
hands as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you had to cast both produce flame and burning hands to finish off his build.
Right. So, sorry, I guess that
Okay.
I wouldn't
So-
So this staff resembles a blackened and burned length of ashen wood. It smells faintly of soot and glows as if lit by embers. You can use the interact action to touch the tip of the staff to a torch, tinder, or flammable substance to ignite a flame. So that's one use. The other is cast a spell. You expend a number of charges from the staff to cast a spell from its list. Produce flame or burning hands.
Okay. So I can either light something on fire, cast
Yep.
either of those, and that's it for now.
And that's item level 3, by the way.
Oh, is it? That's my bad. I
Yes.
thought it was item level 1.
So we will say it's probably going to take you another couple days to finish
All
it.
right,
But
cool.
by the time you get to the temple, it'll be done.
And he would have just needed to cast the spells during its creation, so I
Yep.
figured that
At the
was,
end, it's
that was-
fine. Yeah.
So there you go, pal.
So it basically takes away, or doesn't take away, it
It
saves
gives
some actions.
it gives
Using
him it gives him produce flame and burning hands an extra time per day, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
So
That's cool.
And gives him a staff that he can use as a staff as well, as far as
Yeah.
Yep.
however he wants to use it.
I'm a ninja monkey now. A monk monkey.
It's not a quarter staff. So you can't really
It
use
does 1d8 damage.
Oh,
if
does it really?
You strike with it.
Oh man.
Oh,
That
that's
is
great.
better than my dagger. So
And actually, sorry. If you're using it two hands, it's 1d8. One hand, it's 1d4 bludgeoning.
which is the same as my dagger. So
And it has one charge per day, so you could use it for one of the two spells.
got it.
Cantrips, you can use it.
Well, he can use the cantrip.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, and if you want to cast the,
Is it the
if you
same
want to feel
number of
more like wizardly
actions?
or whatnot.
Like, is the same number of like?
It
for
is a
actions?
single action for this.
So there's a
Because
bonus,
you-
there's a
yeah.
bonus
That's a
to
That's
it.
a
yes.
really big deal.
Yep.
So
Because
Everything else takes 2, right?
right,
For you?
because now I can fire 3 produce flames per turn. Is that correct? Or
No,
produce
it's
flame
one
is
use.
a chart.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one charge.
Got it.
And
So you
that
can do
counts
two,
for the
though.
cantrip
You do
or
two.
burning
One
hands.
time.
the book said that the cantrips you can use it the whole thing. Let me look again though.
The book doesn't matter. It's what the GM says.
No, that's true. But to me, it would make sense
Yeah.
that you could use
So
it.
it says you expend a number of charges from the staff to cast a spell from its list. And then its list is cantrip, produce flame, or first level burning hands.
I was gonna say it's however you say it is. The reason I thought it was kind of cool was that you could use.
I mean, the fact that it's one action is a big deal, even if it is just one time a day. 'Cause
Yeah.
that still allows me to do 2 casts
In one action.
in a turn.
And you can cast and hold it with 2 hands, and it's stronger than a dagger, right? So
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right.
Oh, here you go. If a staff contains a cantrip, you can cast the cantrip using the staff without expending any charges. The cantrip's level is heightened to the same level of cantrips you cast.
Okay.
It's
No, I believe
right here,
you.
buddy.
I believe you, but
But no, again, it's however you want it to work. That was part of the thing where I was like, oh, okay, this will be kind of a cool thing for you to channel all of your stuff through, and that way you've got a tool that you can use the way.
yeah. So we'll say that you can use both of them once.
Okay.
So burning hands or produce flame once,
Got it.
and that'll give us
Sweet.
because otherwise 3 produce flames per round is OP.
Yeah. You guys just stay in the car. I got this.
All right, and that has been added to your character sheet, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I do, buddy.
All right, so you guys have traveled for the day. Make a handle animal check.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna help.
It's crit 1.
Oh no.
It was coming.
Maybe you should have
It makes sense.
I was gonna say you can't do worse.
So you guys travel about 6 hours today, and then something breaks on the front of the cart,
Oh.
and you guys are going to spend the rest of the day kind of fixing
I
it.
was gonna say, you want me to
Yeah, make a craft check.
Let's take a look.
19?
Okay, so yeah, you see where like a pin might have fallen out or something, but you travel back a little ways to see if you can find it, and if you can, but either way, you spend the rest of those 2 hours that you would have been traveling fixing that.
All right.
So,
I thought
and
it
you are
was a
just
horse,
short
so.
of the river now.
Nice.
So the next day you will cross the river, and then you will start moving into harder terrain. So camping.
Yep.
All right, let me. 10 for the survival check.
Okay.
Or no, 12. Sorry.
15
For what?
for hunting for food again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's found their groove.
Yeah.
Since I was so successful, let's go foraging. That's a 19.
There you go.
19. Nice.
I can't help you with that, can I?
Probably best if you don't.
Okay.
All right. So you are able to find some wild blackberries.
I'll add those to my regular berry mug.
All right. and
Which for Gazmac means what? Which one?
Right?
I can tell the difference between deer poop and strawberries.
See, I'll just smile with satisfaction knowing that you still have the pie very faintly on your ear.
And yeah, you were able to pull about 40 or so off the bush that you did find.
All right.
That's nice. The berry king.
All right, you rolled what?
15.
15? And you rolled
12.
12? Okay, so you pull the cart off. You don't pull it nearly as far off the road as you had in the past, but you guys kind of camp out near the cart. And you have a harder time finding stuff today, but you do find some small animals. So maybe we'll say you find a chicken today.
Oh, a chicken.
Yep, a wild chicken. A
wild
turkey.
chicken.
A turkey will be
There you
better.
go.
Yep,
Oh, that's
you're able to
I
get a
killed so
turkey.
much chicken.
Nice.
So, someone just make a perception roll for the evening. Just one person.
That is 21.
All right. You do notice some carts go by, but no one gives you any problems.
Cool.
And they were heading south towards Pikes Point or Encewood. Based on what you saw, they looked like merchants or just travelers. They didn't have an overwhelming amount of weapons or anything on them. So, wake up the next day, and you travel over the river. And Josh, make a...
You said with the crafting was going to take a couple extra days.
Yeah.
That's what I was rolling. It's a 20.
Okay.
Or natural 20, rather, so 26.
Okay. It was a natural 20.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to knock a little bit off the time and cost. So you can take 5 gold back.
Oh, cool. Well, I already bought all the supplies, so...
So you keep 5 gold worth of supplies.
All right.
And whatever that might look like, so... we'll just... Crafting supplies.
Yeah, there
5
we go.
gold worth.
5 gold worth of magical crafting supplies. What's in there?
Crafting
It's
supplies.
a secret. That's right, it's a secret recipe.
All right.
And you wanted me to make a what check for something?
Yes, I do.
A what check?
I want you to make... Make a perception check.
All right. Nice. Natural 19, so that makes it a 29.
All right. So you start to notice some of the stuff that you saw when you came out of the portal as you guys have entered the wooded area. You are going to have to park the cart at some point in time. And the horses, you give them a long enough lead that they're able to reach the water and still be able to eat some of the vegetation and stuff. So.
Cool.
All right. Looks like the real adventure begins.
And you start traveling from there. Josh, you're going to kind of lead the way. So Cypher will lead the way because you were here, but you had been to the other temple.
Yeah, I figured I'd spent some time, once the dogs went away. This was more, I won't say leisurely, but I was trying to find my way.
Yep.
So I'm a lot more familiar with this. This wasn't just like, brown pants time on the way out of here. So this was a little bit more. I guess I could find where I was camping before and,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. So
Is Co's staff still pointing in the direction?
Yeah, still pointing.
Yep. So at this point in time, it is kind of pointed, it has shifted some and it's pointing more west. So, and basically you're able to tell, you plant it in the ground and then it moves according to which direction it's wanting you to go.
That's cool.
So,
cool.
all right.
Lead on.
So it gives
Yeah.
you a general direction and with you kind of leading the
I was
way,
going to say, I figured between the two of us, we can follow and figure out.
you
where we're
travel a
going.
little longer and now I need everyone to make a perception roll.
19.
19.
14.
21.
All right. As you're progressing, you notice that there's some features in this hill line that don't seem to add up. They don't look the same. Even some of the trees that are on top of this one particular hill are different than the other trees in the area. And as you do some snooping and looking around, you find a small cave entrance.
I'm gonna check it for traps.
Okay.
20, not natural 20, but 20 total.
Okay. You do not see anything that appears
21
to be,
rather. Sorry.
you don't see anything that appears to be trapped with the cave entrance or anything. And are you guys going to enter?
I'm gonna look at him.
If you guys are ready, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Well, I prepared dancing lights, so can I cast them?
Yes.
Cool.
So you cast dancing lights, and what kind of lanterns do you create?
Can I do little like orbs that will kind of like whoosh? I don't know how to describe that. Other places.
Whooshing orbs.
Whoosh,
Yeah.
whooshing orbs.
Okay. So you make kind of globules of
Yeah.
light, and they are moving around almost like. Have you seen those cool storm clouds that people create with like a water bottle and cotton and stuff, and they put a light inside?
No, but now I'm gonna look that up.
Oh, really cool. But that's what it looks like. It's a globule that kind of moves like a cloud would, and you've created 4 of those, and you're able to move those into the cave.
Nice.
And as you do, you see a stone door entrance in the far corner, and just some water and stuff in throughout, and some stalagmites and stalactites. No signs of any animals or anything in the area. And above the door, roll knowledge religion.
Religion?
Roll it. What?
Yep.
Do you
Religion?
have to be trained in that?
Yes.
Okay.
16.
19.
I'm not trained.
All right. You were able to read. Sorry.
Abandon all hope, ye who
Ira
Speak
stays
friend
here.
and
What?
Eat it, Joe.
Forgive and be forgiven.
Both of us, I assume, because he's higher.
Mhm.
Is this the place then?
It appears so.
Forgive and be forgiven. I don't know how to open it, but that's cool.
I forgive you guys, man.
I forgive you for lying about the pierogies too.
We were lying.
You do that in front of the door. You're lying again.
What did you think they tasted like?
They tasted like junk.
They tasted really good. What? I don't know what kind of junk you've had, but
The junky kind.
well, it was good junk.
Why are we whispering? We don't want the door to hear us.
Don't want to offend the door.
We can't be fighting
Can
in
we
front of
see
the
any
forgiveness door.
symbol, imprint, anything to?
That is all that you've read.
Okay.
I will cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You are able to tell that there is a magical. That magic is being used in the area to hold the door shut. It does seem like something is going to have to be done in order for it to open.
Forgive and be forgiven.
Are we all cool with each other here? Like, honestly, if anyone has any beefs with anybody else, maybe this is a good time to talk about them.
What if it's not that? What if it's like... What if we need to... Like... Stand a certain way or sit a certain way or like... Pray or something or... Like, how... Like, what does the action of, like, forgiving look like? Like, I don't know.
Kneeling, maybe.
Kneeling?
Could all try kneeling in front of the door.
I was
Oh
going
no!
for it.
I don't know where
That's
that went.
gone.
know what
That
dice
sounded
are-
really
okay.
far away. It was
Bryson
my
is
best dice,
literally
too.
under your left foot.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm gonna try to open it, like disable the door, like open the door
Okay.
as far as unlock it. It's a 20.
It is a magical means in order to do it. It is requiring something.
Ah, With that check, do I have any idea what it is?
Some sort of action must be performed in front of the door.
Interesting.
Well, I like Gazmak's idea. We could try kneeling. That's how I pray every day.
What if we tried like bowing to each other? Like one of us bows, the other person bows back.
Sounds good. I guess I can start.
Okay.
I bow towards
Towards
Gazmak.
Gazmak.
Yep.
I bow towards Ko.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Are there any sort of like hieroglyphs or runes or anything scratching the wall or anything around and near the door that would give sort of like a pictograph of what needs to be done?
Roll perception.
24.
Okay. So you do search other places within the cave because you guys have been focusing primarily on the door. And far off in the corner, you find a person facing another person, and one has like little lines that show audible coming out, and one bows, and then audible comes out of that mouth.
Ah. So I call attention to that.
I
I
was
was
like, I
like,
had
your
nothing to
bowing
say.
thing
I
is
think we
pretty
had the
close.
yeah.
But it said, remember, your thing said forgive and be forgiven. So somebody needs to forgive, then someone needs to bow, and then that person needs to forgive as well.
Okay.
Roll perception.
You guys are the marionettes here. Go for it.
Oh dear. Okay. 21.
At this point in time, you catch a flicker of
Yeah, I
the
knew
pie
it.
on his ear.
He, Gazmak, you remember that one day where I got really wet?
Yeah. You went in the water.
Yeah. No,
By
actually.
the pirate ship.
Okay, yeah, there was that time. Well, do you remember the one day Claude like doused me with the whole big?
Oh yeah. That was really funny.
It was. It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to do with that? Can I tell?
It depends if he's going to try to deceive you or not.
That's true. It's true.
Come on, guys.
If
We got a place to be. We got things to do.
I say no, we're never gonna get in that door. So I was a little miffed that you outfired me with the whole fire thing. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I did not outfire you. You are very much better than me. But I'm gonna spin him around.
Okay.
I'm just gonna show everyone the ear.
Okay.
Spin you back around, and be like, "Well, I gave you such high marks for all your food. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but you have a little thing on your ear and it has a pie on it.
I bend it.
Anyway."
So you bend it and you ask for someone like his shield, and you're kind of okay. You see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was like a get back for the get back, and that was stupid and foolish of me. I'm sorry.
I kind of like it. I kind of like the pie. The
I can
tattoo. It
always
makes me
cast
look tough.
it again. Sure. Anyways, I'm sorry for that, and I'm sorry for the grudge against the grudge.
I forgive you,
Thank you.
and I bow.
All right.
And I forgive you.
All right. And the door's open.
Cool.
Jeez, this is so hard, guys. So I just like walk between them.
Yeah.
We're doing character development here, okay? That way, when one of us dies in this temple, it's meaningful.
I actually had the thought if no one had anything, I was gonna trip Gazmac with my tail,
and then apologize.
and then apologize and ask forgiveness. That was my next step if we didn't have anything.
All right. So, as the four of you enter, go ahead and unroll the map, just so you can see it. We aren't gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say
We aren't gonna play, but
I assume this is where we're coming
yeah,
at.
you're entering there. You walk onto a raised platform with stairs leading to the left and right. Intricate stones line the wall, and in the middle, a motionless pool stands about waist high, and it appears to be a well.
Well. Hey, a wishing well.
I don't know how many people come here to wish. Just saying.
So, you enter the room. What would you like to do?
Can we roll perception?
Mm-hmm.
The water.
It's a 22.
Okay, what are you trying to look at?
I'm just looking at, because you just sort of described, can I look at this area?
So there's a open door, and it seems to be leading into an area that has some mossy green material there.
How is this place lit?
There are some ever-burning torches higher on the ceiling, and because the walls are made of like a whitish stone, it's reflecting down.
Nice. So I can extinguish dancing lights. Where the stairs going to?
They just lead down to the platform where the
We are on this.
Water
We are
is.
on this
Alright.
platform.
What's this thing here?
it is a raised platform, and as far as you can tell, there's nothing else to it.
Can I go look into the water?
Yeah.
Just to see.
Is anyone else?
I'll join.
Okay.
No.
Are you, Josh?
I'm not looking at the water. I'm checking out the
I need
little
both of you to make a
bench
will
area.
save.
Great.
Just looking in. Oh, okay.
I wasn't gonna look in. I was gonna look at, but it's sure.
All right, that is
24.
15.
Okay, so you pass and you fail. For the next session, I need you to think of Ko's biggest mistake that he would want to seek forgiveness for.
Okay.
And you are going to be shaken the entire time that you're in this temple.
In this temple. So
So
I
you
looked
have-
in it, and I'm shaken, and I am. Just for my notes, you said my biggest mistake.
The biggest mistake that you are seeking forgiveness for.
It's not the worst will save I've ever heard of.
Okay.
But yeah, you will
I'm
be
shaken.
at a -2 for attack rolls, saves, skill checks, basically all checks.
So okay.
Yeah, the only thing that won't go down is your AC.
Yep.
Do we notice that he's shaken?
Yes.
Cool.
Easily.
And you look into it, and for a second, one of your memories start to come up, and you shake, and it clears from your head.
Distracted. Okay.
So it's basically a memory of my biggest mistake that
You're seeking
that I'm seeking forgiveness for.
Yeah.
And does it have to be a mistake, or could it be
It's
just something?
something that you are seeking forgiveness for, and it would be like the one that would haunt you the most.
Right.
So maybe you bullied a lizard folk friend in
Yeah.
college. Or
I think
something.
I already know. I think I already know it.
God.
So, but yes, I'm excited to have you tell us what you see the next time that you come, or next session. But I wanted to end there because I did want to give a week worth of time for anyone that did look into the well to come up with that if they failed. So,
Okay. I mean, mine's pretty. I mean, I think it makes sense, and yeah, you'll see. You'll see.
You'll all see. All right, so all the combat that I planned for this session.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying, oh, maybe we'll get. Oh.
Welcome to the Temple of Forgiveness.
Oh man. I feel like we need some like Zelda like.
As long as it's not the water.
No, I would not create a water level.
Oh,
All the water levels are horrible.
We'll just have.
I
Ko,
hit this
you-
switch, and then I hit that switch.
You take care of it.
The
I
water
get
goes
hit by a
up.
jellyfish.
Water goes down.
Yes.
Although that might be involved. We'll see. switches.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, we're going to take about a 5-minute break. We will be back at 9:10 to do our after action.
Big fat hen.
So, once again, thank you for watching, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes.